In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a budget in Google Sheets. So whether you are already a regular spreadsheet user or you've never used a spreadsheet program before, you're going to be able to follow along with this video and create your own budget template that will help you keep track of your income, your expenses, and how much you are saving at the end of a month or end of a year, depending on the period that you want to use for your budget. So first, we need to open Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is free if you have a Gmail account. So what you need to do is log into your Gmail, and then you need to open Google Sheets. And there's a few different ways to do that. I'm going to open it by going up to this Google Apps in the top right corner after you're logged into your Gmail, and then you can navigate down to Sheets, and you select this. And then I'm going to create a new one, so I'm going to select this blank sheet here. And so this will be my budget template. So I'll just rename this budget template. So now that we have our blank spreadsheet open, it's time to start filling it out with our own personal list of income and expenses that we want to track. So this is going to be individual to you. The first thing I'm just going to enter is pay. If you have pay from a few different places or you have a side hustle, you may want to add more to your list, but that is all that I'm going to enter here is just the pay from like a job. And then any other expenses that you might have. So rent, gas, electricity, do internet, phone bill, food, entertainment. So I'll put entertainment, like maybe you want to go to a movie, maybe you go out to eat, any kind of money spent on that kind of thing. Your gym membership, let's do health insurance, and then miscellaneous expenses, because that always comes up. So if you have any kind of student loans or something, you could also add that. I'm going to leave that one out of this one. I think this looks good so far. So you have your spreadsheet open, and now you have your list of incomes and your expenses. And so what I'm going to do next is just format this to look a little bit nicer. You don't need to do this if you don't want to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a header row so I can clearly label my income section versus my expense section. So what I'm going to do is select this row here, and I'm going to insert one row above. Then what I want to do is merge these two cells together so that they're one cell. So I'm going to select both of these cells and then come up to this merge cells option in the toolbar, merge cells. Then I want to change the color. So I'm going to come up to this fill color tool, and I like blue, so I'm going to select blue. And then I'm going to label this. So this will be income, and what I'm going to do is select it and make that bold text, and then I want to center it just to make it look nicer. So I'm going to come up to this alignment section and select center. Now what I can do is just copy this. So we can right click, copy, right click, paste, and then I'll rename this to expenses. So I like to do this because it makes my spreadsheet look nicer and more organized. Now what I'm going to do is just add some grid lines, because I think grid lines, again, make your spreadsheet look nicer. So I'm going to highlight everything that I have, and we're going to come up to this borders tool, and we'll just do all borders. So now I have my basic budget template so far, and you can begin to fill out your numbers. So this is where you might want to decide, do you want to create an annual budget or a monthly budget? And so if you're going to do annually, you could enter your total for each year. I'm just going to enter monthly because I like to look at data monthly. So pay, it'll be easier if you use your after-tax pay as opposed to your pre-tax pay. So I'm just going to start filling this out with some numbers. So pay will be $2,400. say we're spending $1,000 in rent. Your car insurance is $100. Electricity, let's do $150. Internet, $45. Phone bill, $45. Food, $400. Entertainment, let's say $100. Gym membership is about $50. Health insurance, and some extra miscellaneous money just in case. So now that I have the numbers entered, we can start doing some math formulas. So maybe I want to total up the expenses, and then I want to figure out how much I should have left over after subtracting my expenses from my income. So I'm going to add a few more rows. I'm going to add a total expenses row here, and I'll add a savings header down here, and maybe I'll change the color, and then we will add a spot for the amount that we actually have left over at the end of every month. So I will add these grid lines back by highlighting this and then selecting this borders up here, and then I'm going to make this bold text just so it stands out. So that is good so far. So now we're going to do some basic math formulas in our spreadsheet to get our totals. So first I'm going to sum up all of this so that we have our total expenses. And so what I'm going to do is select this cell here, and I'm going to type equals on my keyboard, and then we're going to do the sum formula. So I type sum, and then I press tab. Oops, let's just restart that. Equal sum, and then I press tab on my keyboard. And so what you want to do is you want to select the cell range that contains your expenses. So I'm going to click on the top one, and I'm going to hold and drag down until I have this cell range completely in this formula, and then I'm going to add my closing parentheses here and press enter. And so this has now calculated the total sum of all my expenses. So this is the total amount that I am spending every month. And now we're just going to do a basic formula to subtract our expenses from our pay. So I'm going to select this cell, equals, and then I'm going to select my monthly pay here, and I will minus my expenses. And so with this, I should be saving about $260 every month. And so I have this budget now created where I have my monthly pay and my monthly expenses here. And so if you want, what you can also do if you want your budget to be really accurate is you can track real-time data. So every time you spend, you can actually come in here and create a new column and make sure that you're recording that, or you can do it at the end of a month. You can go through and see if you are on track for your budget and adjust so that you meet your savings goal, or so that you can identify where you're overspending. And so if you were going to do something like that, maybe what you would do is rearrange this spreadsheet a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to remove the merge cells. So I'm going to unmerge all of these headers here. And then I'm going to create a new header. So we'll do budget actual. And then I'll just copy this down. And I'm going to copy the formatting of this by highlighting this, selecting paint format, and then highlighting the new section. And we will change the color of this by, again, selecting this, paint format. It looks like I'm missing one grid line here, so I'll just add that back. So now what you can do is you have your ideal budget. This is what you want to be spending, and then this is your actual numbers. So maybe you have a month where you work some overtime, and so you can adjust your pay here. A lot of these should be fixed costs, like your rent. Your electricity fluctuates. Your internet phone bill should probably be kind of consistent, but some of these may fluctuate in a month. And so this way, if you want to have a more accurate budget, you can kind of adjust this. And so what you can do is you can create a monthly budget. So I will merge these cells. Maybe I'll change the color back to white, and we will do January 2022. Then I'll add a little divider here, so I'm just going to rearrange this, and I'll change this black just so it's kind of clear that it's different. And then I can add a new month, so we'll do February 2022. And then I can copy this again, paste it over, and we have March 2022. But I forgot my little divider here, so we'll just copy this. And so if you want an accurate budget where you're adjusting your numbers monthly, you could do something like this. But that is it for this video. Hopefully you can see now that it is actually very easy to set up a budget in Google Sheets. This whole thing took me just about 10 minutes. And so whether you are a spreadsheet user or not, I think you can follow along with this and create your very own. And it's definitely useful. I personally use a budget from Google Sheets. I don't update it every month. I just have kind of my goals of how much I want to spend in certain areas, and I do adjust it. So I think it is useful. But that is it for this video. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions or content suggestions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer everyone.